Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Iron Age Marketing. I am Nicky P, here as always. My guest today is Jane Sharp. Jane, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you came to do what you do?
Sure. Thanks for having me. Let's see. I've been married 26 years, which seems impossible. I have 5 kids. I've homeschooled them from the beginning. I've graduated most of them. So right now I'm focusing on school for my 12-year-old. And since I have so much more time and less students, I have begun to follow my childhood dream of being a writer. And I've self-published a bunch of books lately. And I am excited because I'm branching out into new kinds of books this year.
Awesome. What kind of books have you put out so far, and what are you looking to put out in the future?
So I have put out a bunch of themed alphabet books for little kids, and I've made activity books that match each of them for kids, like maybe the older siblings of the little kids that are enjoying my books. And then I realized I knew so much about self-publishing at that point that I wrote a sort of like a homeschool curriculum for families to use if they wanted to self-publish with their kids. But let's see, this is September. In October, I have my very first children's book with a plot coming out that I'm really excited about. And since that one is pretty much just needs to be launched, I've changed my focus and I'm writing out the outline for my first chapter book for the, 9 to 12-year-old age.
Okay. Now, given a little bit before the show, we actually talked about the ages of your kids, and it's amusing to me. It's like, I'd imagine that usually you do that stuff when you have kids of that age so you can like make it for them and then sell it after you've made it for them. Now, is this a process that's kind of like taking time to do and it's just now getting finished, or is it just now you have the time? Obviously, taking care of 5 kids is a bit of a chore.
Oh, for sure. And it takes up all your energy. And when you're an attachment parent, it seems it takes up the whole night as well as the day. So at one time I had 4 kids, and then we had a little bit of a gap and had the baby. So when I had the 4 kids, I had 4 kids under 7. So I was really busy, and then with homeschooling and activities and stuff, it was crazy for a good 10 years, I feel like. And then we had the baby, and now he's 12. So I feel like I was really busy. And now, his school, he's getting to be more independent with a lot of it. And so I just had a lot of time on my hands, and I had to figure out, what do I want to do with my time if I'm not pouring it into my kids and their education. I just had to fill the time somehow. And I have always wanted to be a writer. And so I wasn't making these for my kids. Like, I'm excited to share them with my grandkids and my nieces and nephews, but I was just making them because I just absolutely love the topic, and it had to come out somehow.
Okay, and obviously, you're a homeschooling parent yourself. Is there a certain noticing the need that like kind of pushed you in the direction that you did? Most women your age I know are writing, romantic fiction of some kind because that's what sells really good. There's a huge audience for that. They eat it up. Throw vampire in there and some cowboy kind of guy and complain about men while, also filling them full of every horrible trope about like the what do you call that? The toxic male you possibly can in there. Like, oh, these horrible toxic male now beat me up and
Give me more of them. Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, none of that was appealing. That literally didn't even cross my mind. I, so I had actually been a part of a silly like Facebook thread where this one crunchy mom had started the alphabet, and she was like, let's just keep going around through the alphabet. Everybody fill in a letter and just, after the person in front of you. And I just went on this kick after that post of just filling in all these themed alphabets. And I just was really excited to find, Q, and, some of the letters are really hard, and I wanted them to be awesome. I didn't want them to just fill in a gap like some dumb word because it had the right letter. So I put all this effort into these lists, and I was like, wow, these would be so cool. And it just developed out of this dumb thing I did online with a bunch of other crunchy moms making a list of letters. And I came up with, I think, 5 at the end of my projects. I think I have I think I have 6 alphabet books that I'd like to do. I have done, let's see, I have 3, 4 of them finished, and I have one in the pipeline and one and 2 I haven't started yet. So I guess 7. So it was just because there was a gap, you know?
Now, thematically, what are those books like? Obviously, they're books for kids, but like, obviously, there's what are the themes that you used for your different alphabets?
Okay, so it started with that Facebook thread of crunchy moms. And so, I mean, I think at the end of that post, there was like almost 250 comments. And so I pulled the top, it was more than 50. It was 2 full alphabets of crunchy living words. Some of them have, so like crunchy moms, you know, the moms with no food coloring and the amber necklaces and all that. And so it was just these, one was like crunchy mama, and then one was like extreme crunchiness. And it was like leveled up a little bit of crunchiness.
I remember the amber necklaces, so I'm just like laughing inside so much right now.
And so so then I was, you know, I had learned in some of my like self education about marketing that a series is a great tool to help people find your other books, because when you link them in a series, people, if they like the one that they happen to find, they'll go and look for the other ones. So because crunchy parents are always like just ingredients households and not, you know, pull out the Cheetos and the animal crackers, I made a book called Kitchen Helper ABC, and it has like a whole bunch of like verbs and nouns that are in the kitchen with like illustrations for kids. And then there's 2 more books in that. No, there's one more book in that series that I have not finished yet. Then I have the one that I have finished is another niche that's near to my heart, which is like the Second Amendment and gun safety. So I have an alphabet for that book. And the one that's going to be ready probably, possibly by, well, it's not going to be out until January or after, but it's about traveling. And so it's a whole alphabet of traveling words. And then I have one, the alphabet's ready for a grilling, like a meat alphabet, like outside with dad on the grill kind of theme. So that one is just right now a word list. It hasn't gotten started yet.
Okay, interesting. Now, I'm curious. Do you have like bigger ambitions past like the writing to do like more of a community based kind of thing, since that's where all the real money is? But and then I guess the one thing that we learned. So obviously I don't know, your kids might be a little bit older, but like when 2021 hit and it blew up all of the co-ops and communities around us, and it was what was hilarious as you watched like the big split down the middle of all of them. We'll just say where some people went one way and some people went a different way. Um, I know so many of those people have like gone online looking for the communities that they've lost when that happened. Is that something like you plan kind of like as a next step, or you just kind of like the writing part of it and that's where you want to keep it?
I am really excited about the chapter book series that I'm starting this fall. But as far as online community goes, I have created like a class community that I'm looking to build for my homeschooling curriculum, because I think I have found as my kids get older, they're not as interested in mom's feedback, because, you know, when you're homeschooling, you're the teacher and you're the mom. And so there's a lot of your same voice in their head, and they can really do well when they're getting feedback from somebody else. So I have set up the ability to build a community of kids that are working through self-publishing projects, and I'm excited about that. But because that's where excited about the writing, I don't really envision like a crunchy mom community. And I really enjoy meeting people that like my gun safety books, but it's sort of like a bonus for them because they're always there for some other big activity, and books are not as exciting as like the hands-on stuff they do at those activities.